for the call. Dana, I know you talked to Conor this morning. You said in a couple other interviews. I mean, what is his attitude about his future with the UFC? I mean, how confident are you that he will fight again this year?
I mean, I'm pretty confident in the conversation that I had with him. He's fired up for this fight, and he's excited to fight again and defend his title by the end of the year. Nothing is a guarantee. You can't be guaranteed anybody's ever going to fight again. So, but if you look at Conor and the type of fight, the reason that this fight is so big and the reason that he's such a huge superstar is because this guy will fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. He's going to step in and fight Floyd Mayweather under boxing rules. These are the reasons that people love this kid. You know, I got all these guys crying about, oh, Conor McGregor this, Conor McGregor that. Shut up. Step up and fight like Conor McGregor fights. You know, take the big fights. When somebody falls out, on 4 or 5 days, he'll fight anybody. That's why people love him. If I had to tell you right here, right now, do I think Conor's coming back this year? I absolutely do.
And I know you guys can't get into the financial exact arrangement that was made here. I know a lot was said about Mayweather-Pacquiao was a 60-40 split. Can you give us any kind of indication what the final number was for Mayweather and McGregor?
We have a confidentiality clause in place, and the financial details will not be disclosed.
Nobody's bummed out about this deal. I promise you that.
Everybody's happy.
And one final question for the undercard. This will all be boxing, and I assume, and maybe this is best question for Steven Espinoza, but I assume this will all be built, with Mayweather Promotions, completely boxing. Like, there will be no other crossover fights. There will be no other UFC guys involved with this card.
The undercard, in terms of the televised undercard and the pay-per-view, will absolutely be a straight boxing card. But it's a big card. There might be some interesting things that we do with the prelims. That's something that we're going to come together on and really hope to make it an entertaining day, not just 3 or 4 fights, but an entire entertaining afternoon and evening of legitimate fights all around.
Awesome. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Jack and Carnacao from the Boston Herald.
Thanks very much. Steven, considering Showtime's going to control the production, is Morrow going to call this fight? Who's going to be on the call?
We are controlling production, but this is very much a collaboration. Obviously Morrow's our go-to guy. And has a history in both boxing and MMA. But we're going to sit down with both Dana and his colleagues as well as Leonard and put together a team that makes the most sense for the good of the event.
Dana, would you like to see some UFC announcer representation on the call?
I don't know. We haven't really got into that yet. Like Steven said, we're going to talk about it and we'll figure it out. I don't have a problem. Listen, at the end of the day, Showtime put up a lot of money, to get Floyd Mayweather over there and to promote his fights and whatever they want to do. They've been very, very, very fair in this negotiation and letting us do things that they absolutely did not have to let us do. So I'm cool with anything.
Dana, you're looking forward to doing, from what I'm reading from Steven there, an afternoon UFC card the same day as the event. Is that what you're thinking?
I didn't go that far.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
No. There will be no UFC that day. This is a boxing day.
Okay, great. Dana, to what degree would you expect Conor to kind of frame this up in the interviews ahead of time as, MMA being a superior fighting sport to boxing, kind of framing it as MMA are real fighters and boxers are just boxers? Do you expect him to put it that way?
The reality is MMA is MMA and boxing is boxing, and he's stepping into the boxing arena. It doesn't matter if they fought out in the street, what would happen? He has agreed to come in and box Floyd Mayweather, so it is what it is.
I don't want to get too sidetracked on this, but I think the best analogy to use here is it's NASCAR and Formula One. NASCAR is not going to replace Formula One. Formula One's not going to replace NASCAR. You see some crossover, a driver from Formula One will try NASCAR. No one makes a big deal about it. They say, oh, that'll be interesting to see how the skills transfer. I think that's what we're talking about here.
Great.
Yeah,
guys.
And Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor are such unique individuals and so dominant in both of their sports and in every way, shape, and form, it's a fun fight. You know, and like Leonard said earlier, this isn't some fight that we went out and tried to make or build or anything else. This thing built itself. This is a fight that started from the ground up. The fans wanted to see this thing. The media went crazy about it, and here we are.
Finally, for Leonard. Leonard, when did Conor first get on Floyd's radar? Was there a fight he won or an appearance he made that made this all of a sudden start to be a real thing?
Well, I can't exactly remember the time frame, but the kid, he's been making a lot of noise, and I had watched the fight or something, and I was telling Floyd, I was like, this kid got a nice hand game. And Floyd saw it, he was like, yeah, he do got a nice hand game. So again, this is a fight that Floyd is taking very, very seriously, because we all do know all it takes in boxing is one shot, and it don't have to be a clean shot. A guy with that kind of power, he can nick you, and you can be buzzed. There's been a few times